On the game, Adam Hill said, "Physical Disability Rugby League has been one of the best experiences of my life. I'm really excited to show off Australia to my teammates and show off PDRL to a wider audience." Adam Hills is also producing a documentary around the journey of PDRL, and the Rugby Football League will be promoting this at the Ladbroke Challenge Cup final in August. The group needs to raise £50,000 for the trip and are looking for businesses or individuals willing to support them. For more information on how you can get involved, contact Sean Briscoe at wolvesfoundation.com, or donate now to the Just Giving page, www.justgiving.com/PDRL. Whilst Warrington will be the UK's first representative this year, it's proposed that another PDRL team will be selected to represent the competition in 2019. I'm pretty sure I lifted all those links and stuff from our partner, Love Rugby League, so check out the story on their website and that'll give you the links. But justgiving.com/PDRL is certainly a cause worthy of your support.
Yeah,
I would say.
Give your money there. Don't give it to your Keithleys and your Whitehavens holding out the begging bowl. Give your money to some guys going off to effectively represent the country. The interesting question for me on this one is Adam Hills going to play for Warrington, or is he going to want to play for his boyhood club of South Sydney, or is he going to do half each, do you think?
I think now he's in too deep on this team. I think he feels he feels a part of the group from all the interviews I've seen with him and that sort of stuff. I think, and he has been asked this before. I remember Sean Lawless interviewed him earlier on in the season from Wigan Fan TV, and he asked him about it there. That was when Wigan were building up to play in South in the Australia tour. So he talked about it there, and also I'm sure I've heard or seen him interviewed on other things, the Dave Woods podcast, for example. But he was asked that question, and he did say, "Now these are my teammates, so I feel like I can't let my teammates down." So even though it was his lifelong dream to play for the Rabbitohs, what I would guess is he would maybe try and look to play for the Rabbitohs in a future fixture against a different opposition. Would be his way of getting around this. And also, maybe if we can get PDRL World Cup off the ground ahead of 2021, he can then pull on the green and gold, can't he? I mean, Adam Hills on Channel 4, one of the most watched magazine shows that you get in the country now, where no one watches TV.
One of the best-selling comedians in the country as well. I saw his show in Edinburgh 3 years ago, and it was an absolute sellout. Brilliant show as well, and just all-round funny guy, and just really, really great guy from everything I've seen. I've interacted with him on Twitter a couple of times when I watched his DVD at Christmas, and sent him a message saying we were watching it, and he said, "Oh, thanks, we were really pleased," and all that. And just seems a great guy. So and the fact he is such a champion of sport and of PDRL in particular, I think we don't make enough of it when we get people like this and Johnny Vegas who get on board with it, and I think we just need to really go for it and praise them as much as we can.
And these guys we're lucky to have these guys with a profile, and sort of saying Hills was on Sunday Brunch, which is a fairly widely viewed programme. Johnny Vegas has been on there talking about St Helens earlier this year and what they've been up to and stuff like that, because Rimmer and Lovejoy just want to talk about fucking football. Well, at least we have presence in these big media outlets, a well-watched show with an audience that might not be familiar with rugby league. But when you start talking to a Channel 4 audience about a disability sport, they have the Paralympics on that channel and all that sort of stuff, you're gonna get ears pricking up. And a disability contact sport, there's not tons of those around for these guys to play,
especially one that doesn't need a lot of equipment, because most of them need a large degree of specialist equipment. And one of the beauties of PDRL is pretty much you need your trainers and a pair of shorts, and you're off.
Exactly. I think it's fantastic, and the platform's there for it to grow. I think another person who's going to help give us a platform, hopefully, to grow, Andy Burnham, Mayor of Greater Manchester and former Cabinet Minister, began his term of office as the President of the Rugby Football League last Wednesday. The Rugby Football League Council meeting, attended by member clubs and other council members, took place in the formal surroundings of the officers' mess at RAF Waddington in Lincolnshire. The special location was made possible by outgoing President Air Commodore Dean Andrew, Royal Air Force, who as Air Officer ISTAR, don't know what that means, is in command of the RAF base. Andy Burnham received his formal chain of office and becomes president. The new Rugby Football League vice president is Pat Cranshaw. The universities and colleges representative on the Football The Rugby Football League Communities Board and Counsel and long-term advocate for the community game. She takes on this role from Mark Croston, director at London Broncos.
London Scholars.
Scholars, yeah. Sorry, I felt like I've just read so much stuff that I'm going to make mistakes now.
I love Andy Burnham. He's a nice guy. I've met him actually. I did in one of my previous jobs, as we do make a joke out of frequently, was producing political engagement shows for students and teenagers. And one of them that we did was one of the first ones I think we did with this company. It's called Catch 21 Productions. Was to produce one with Andy Burnham, and he was really engaging, spoke really well, and it always seems like he's very genuine in everything he says. He actually means, which you can't accuse a lot of politicians of.
I mean, you can accuse a lot of them of seeming genuine.
Yes.
To be honest, but he's thrown his weight behind, the World Cup campaign and stuff like that already. So he's been vocal and visible whilst he's come into office. Whereas I'd never even heard of I've never even heard of Air Commodore Dean Andrew until this announcement.
I did meet the previous president of the RFL, and basically he was going on about his gold chain he was wearing around his neck. He wasn't telling me what he was doing in the game, or what he was doing to promote the game, or what he was telling me about the gold chain around his neck, and I was quite happy not to listen.
So there you go. And finally, you can read that one.
Oh, can I?
Yeah.
The Rugby Football League is offering 103 tickets to the Ladbrokes Challenge Cup semi-final doubleheader event at the Macron Stadium in Bolton this Sunday, the 5th of August, to Greater Manchester and Lancashire Fire and Rescue Service colleagues. The tickets will be offered not only to frontline firefighters but support staff at GMFRS and LFRS who pulled together to tackle the wildfires on both Saddleworth, Moors and Winter Hill in Bolton. Andy Burnham, Mayor of Greater Manchester and RFL President, said, "As new President of the Rugby Football League, I'm delighted to see the RFL making these tickets available for hard-working members of staff across both fire services. I myself witnessed firsthand the extraordinary dedication and physical effort firefighters put in when tackling the blazes on the moors around Saddleworth and Winter Hill. A day out watching the Challenge Cup is always an exciting experience. I hope as many GMFRS and LFRS staff as possible make the trip and enjoy the day."
Great gesture.
This is a bit of good news. Yeah, great gesture, and I hope take it up. And this is the sort of gesture as well that brings new fans into the sport, isn't it? If you're getting a free ticket to something, they might bring someone in who's not necessarily going to come in. So, or they might choose to bring some kids along, or at the worst, they'll go along and say what a good time they had and find out when the next game is.
New fans, good publicity. It's the kind of story that we need a media officer who can push some of the papers who are reducing the coverage, blah, 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 but push some of the papers to put a story and a byline in, that sort of thing.
This might get us in the Times.
Or it could get us in, the MEN or something like that, or the Lancashire Evening Post or whatever. There's a potential for an audience there, and people love this kind of gesture. People in the north, people in this country, we love our services, whether it be the armed services or the fire and rescue services, the NHS, the health services. We love our public services, and rewarding them for special efforts like this. This was a special effort to fight those fires in what was totally abnormal conditions for the north of England.
Yeah.
So
and it's something American sports do really well, isn't it? The kind of recognition events and recognition that they do, lots of armed forces ones and service personnel as well. And it's something they do really well and makes you proud to be part of the community that recognises people for doing that, I think.
Yeah, and I know that Wigan, Leeds, Warrington and York have certainly all done armed forces special days this year. I think Wakefield did one too, if I remember rightly. So we are pushing that. It's just obviously we don't know enough about it in terms of making it. I think we shouldn't just do it for publicity, but do you know what? Take the publicity. Take these opportunities.
Make the most of it when we do it.
Yeah. Because we should celebrate the good things, the nice things that we do. All right, that's the news. That's a a big chunk of news, a little bit of story time. It's been good, but we're now going to have to go on to talking about the Super League match reviews. Super League match reviews now, sponsored by Rob's Toy Shop on eBay. Find a wide range of toys, gifts, rugby league birthday cards and more at Rob's Toy Shop on eBay. Visit stores.ebay.co.uk/Rob's Toy Shop. On any orders over £5, you can order 5%. You can earn 5% cash back, and also 1% of your order value will go straight into the SLP coffers. So to get your 5% cash back and the 1% to us, put SLP discount at checkout. Okay, round 23 it was this week, obviously.
That's the final round, yeah.
Final round of the regular season. So, as far as I'm concerned, we're now into playoffs. Whether those playoffs are a round robin or a knockout, we're into playoffs after this. Average attendance 8,829, boosted by a couple of decent crowds. The first one of those was the Thursday night game. 12,454 turned up to watch James Child oversee St Helens versus Warrington. It was 8-0 to Warrington at half time, but it finished 14-12 to the Saints, having been 12-all on the hooter.
Yeah.
Saints were technically ahead for 0 minutes in this game, yet won. I saw a tweet from a Saints fan who does one of the fan accounts for them about that fact. It's an interesting fact. Do you want to take us through the first of the fan reviews?
Yep, so we start off with Paul O'Brien, PAB 1976, who says Warrington had the better of the first half, but Saints just never gave up. Could have been won by either side, but what a great penalty kick from Richardson on the hooter. Thought Childs had a great game tonight.
I don't want to pull him up on it when he's not slagging him off, but
yeah.
Mickey White said, what a game. Had a bit of everything, from big hits and flowing moves to drop goal attempts and a couple of shithousery masterclasses from Hill and LMS.
Yeah, that was back again.
Danny Richardson also showed he has balls of steel by making that kick at the end too.
Yeah, at Mike Dodd 22 said, what a bunch of whinging Saints twats.
Favourite review of the week, this one.
They use these tactics, they use those tactics, get fucked. And take the Sky commentators with you. Not that will be hard considering how far up your arseholes they are. Not that I'm bitter or anything. I didn't get bitterness in that, Mike.
Wonderful. Carsten said, another, what a game. First half was a complete wire show. Keeping the Saints to zip was with a really strong defensive effort. Plus, Wilkins' reaction after his high tackle and Westwood's ball throwing showed a lot of respect, as it should be on the field. The second half was very exciting, with some good tries and some stupid handbags on the field. Roberts can't score a drop goal, but damn, Richardson can kick it.
Yeah, St David said, found a way to get it done, and what a way. Hope no NFL teams see that kick. Wires, line speed, Saints overplaying, and an inconsistent ref had us on the back foot in the first half. Much better in the second to get back in the game. Great games by LMS, Tomo, Roby, and Lomax for us, and Cooper and Clark for them. Hill is a fucking grub. Ratchford and Hughes, pathetic acting. To quote Sam Burgess, get up, you weak C star.
Yeah, I don't know what the extra star was. Oh, pluralising it. I'm with you now.
Right, okay.
Brian Davies said, good quality game with the Richardson kick at the end was great climax to the game. The loss by wire opens up the top four for the chasing pack if they can put a run together. Chris Hill has become a real grub though, hasn't he? Even being an England player doesn't enable me to overlook it.
I agree with Brian,
well,
as in so many things.
What? No fucking disciplinary action again.
Yeah, it's raising some questions about what are they actually looking for when they're watching these games. Because
what are the cautions worth? What on earth are the two
and what does
Chris
Hill need to do to actually get himself some action? Because I've seen 3 or 4 games of his recently that have had some concerning action in there. I've seen him have hands round the throat, leaning on people with his hand on the throat, spitting right in their faces, getting into some twisting in the tackle. And come on, someone needs to have a word with him and say this isn't on.
Cautions have shown their value in this case, and that value is absolutely 0. How can you caution a player twice for the same thing, and then when he does it again, not even ban him? I know it wasn't like the worst of the offences that you've seen, but it's foul play. It's the same player persistently doing the same thing, even though you've cautioned him about doing it. Fucking ban
And
him.
as much as
I know you don't
anything
want
else,
to
it's
ban
about
him and miss a
protecting.
semi-final for that incident,